Okay, looks like we're live. So I'm just off of a very long shift at work. Just wanted to talk a little bit about my job and my career actually as a truck driver. So
Breathe out, kid. You'll go purple.
I'm scared, Sarge.
Everybody's scared, kid.
this seems to
Anyone who
be
says
out.
he isn't is a damn liar.
How many times have you been in combat, Sarge?
I was with Raider Battalion on Peleliu my first time.
Was it bad?
It's always bad.
Will this be bad?
As bad as it gets, kid. But you stick by the Marine next to you, and he will stick by you.
So, some of the guys, they aren't very friendly, Sarge.
They've lost a lot of their friends in the last couple of days, kid. They think if they don't get to know you, that they won't have to grieve for you if you get killed. They're wrong. It doesn't work that way. Don't worry. No Marine in this company will let you down.
Phelps, welcome to Vice. This is your new partner, Roy Earl. Take a seat. A special request was made to transfer you to Ad Vice. We need a man with your kind of starch on this desk, son. We have 2 dead Negroes found in an apartment this morning on Yucca Street. Number 6358, apartment 5.
We got better things to be doing than wasting our time on 2 dead junkies.
Did I ask your opinion, detective? 2 men dead on U.S. Army issue morphine. That makes it an advice case. Beat it.
Yes, sir.
You and the lieutenant have some history?
You could say that. We used to be partners. So, you're working with the big boys now, Cole?
I guess so, Roy. I thought homicide was the primo assignment.
That may be the case. I asked for you personally, Phelps. I had to pull a few strings to
Yeah,
get
the
you over
audio was a
Advice.
little off,
How
but
does
this
it feel?
seems to be something that seems to be going on with the
The
game.
lieutenant seems to think I'm doing okay.
Okay. Don't get humble on me, Phelps. You're doing great. You're the department pinup boy. War hero and crime fighter.
As soon as this
What a
is over,
combination.
I'm gonna go ahead and just get on
I can
with
assure you I'm no war hero detective.
Grown men.
Let's rouse some hopheads.
Can't stand about the Switch. If you use the headphone jack as you're streaming, pretty much you can't. The stream doesn't hear a damn thing. And I ended up getting a monitor that had audio in but not audio out. The other thing. Oh, you know what? Is that actually an option? Hold on. Hold on. I think I just figured it out. Hold on. I think I just figured it out.
Cole, we got things to do.
Still. Sticking out of this. I should have already. What's going on? I thought this would work. Isn't this working? Alright, well, alright, so that idea didn't work. You know what, screw it. It's more important that I talk about what we talk about. Alright, so.
Nice car, Roy. Is it department issue?
No, this is my sled. You can't be seen slumming it in a Nash if you're in Vice, Cole. Meanwhile, we got needled.
I haven't been having any issue like this. So pretty much what I wanted to, I just got off a shift at work, just wanted to stream and just talk about just trucking in general and how I started. So before I started trucking, I was working in UPS for 3 years. For 3 years, I worked at UPS as a package handler, basically loading and unloading trucks, mostly loading. And then one day, my dad was like, yo, what's up? You should try to get into trucking or one of the trades. I went over there, and from what I remember, I went over there, saw something I went to Smith & Solomon. So once I went to Smith & Solomon, what ended up happening was, I think I went there, and then months later, around like winter time, they sent me this coupon for $1,700 off the admissions to go to the school. So I took that, and I remember I started December 15th. That date always stuck out to me. So from December 15th, I started my Cdl training. Went to Smith & Solomon driving school, went and got it. And I was working at UPS. Before I went to the school, I was working 2 jobs. UPS part-time, 5 to 10 in the afternoon. And then I would have a job from 2, 3 in the morning to about 8 in the morning, something like that. But not the whole time. So it would be for a couple months I did that. Then I grew crazy, working 2 jobs. So basically after that, what I did was from December to about June, it was 6 months. So as I was working for UPS, in 3 years, I left making $10.50. And that's after the 3 years. So, I was going to play the game, but you know what? I'll just talk, because I feel like I need to just be able to say something, you know what I mean? Sometimes you just have those days where you feel like you just need to say something to somebody. And, I've always wanted to be into streaming for years. I thought it was one of the coolest things that you could do as a content creator, and I do agree that that is exactly what I wanted to be doing. I like long form content as far as like streaming because you can just be chill, laid back, relax. You know, I don't really want to do anything with like extended editing. But yeah, back to the trucking. So from for the 3 years that I was at UPS working part time, I picked up a second job for a couple months, left that job, and immediately started my truck driving school. So what would happen is I would work Monday through Friday from 5 to 10, have the weekends off, and then on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, I would go to the truck driving school. And I would be paying, I think if I'm not mistaken, it was like every other week. It wasn't like monthly installments. It was like either weekly or bi-weekly. So, you know, I was doing that for a couple months and paying my CDL. And then came the day where, you know, I ended up paying off the school, and then they were like, okay, because you can train for as long as you need, but you can't take the test until you can't take the CDL road test until you pay off the tuition. So once I had got my license, I went back to UPS, and they basically were like giving me the runaround, like, oh, okay, you got your CDL, yeah, but if you want to drive for us, we want to see you on time for like 3 months. And the thing about it was I didn't have a car, so whenever I was late, it would be due to like the bus. And yes, I know technically it'll be like, you know, you could say like, well, then take a bus earlier than the one that you usually take. But, you know, when you taking buses and stuff to work, like you're really just trying to get on like that one thing that'll get you there, and that's about it. You know, that's it. So
Guessing I could buy all of her central.
so what ended up happening was I I'm sorry, it's been a long day at work. Not talking about. I was getting my CDL. I'm working at UPS. Yeah. So basically, what I would do after I took the test, they were like, "Hey, you know, we need you to be on time for 3 months." So I went back and told my dad, and my dad was like, "Nah, you know, don't even worry about that. You know, go do your own thing." So then that is when I decided that I was gonna go over the road. So I left UPS that November, like late October, early November. So I worked from 2010 to 2013 at UPS, and then near the end of 2013, I worked with CR England. Now, CR England is one of the mega carriers. Those the other mega carriers that you guys probably know if you care to listen would be, of course, like Swift, CRST, Schneider, Werner. You know, these big companies. So I went with CR England, and they were based out of Salt Lake City, Utah. So what I did was I left UPS, and I left in November. They sent me on a Greyhound over to, it was either Indiana or Illinois. It was one of those states. I think it was Indiana. So they put us up in a Econo Lodge hotel in Indiana. We stayed there for like a very short time because by the time I think Thanksgiving came, so I may have been over there for maybe like a week or two or something like that. Then by the time Thanksgiving came, then they greyhounded everybody that was in Indiana all the way, greyhounded us from Indiana over to Salt Lake City, Utah. So then when I was in Salt Lake City, Utah, the timing, like I said, this was back in 2013, 2014, back when this happened. So a couple of the dates are a little murky. So what I do remember is that around the Thanksgiving time was around when they started shipping everybody off to from Indiana to Utah. I went over to Utah, and I remember, I'll never forget it. They have CR England has like their main base in Salt Lake City, so they have like the big yard that's for training people. So I mean it's massive to the point where they have like hundreds of trucks, and then it's like hundreds of trucks over there, and then over here it's like the training grounds where they got maybe like 2-3 trucks that are doing maneuvers. So one of them would be alley docking, the other one would be straight backing, and I think the other one was like blindside backing. So blindside backing is basically when you back into a dock from your right hand side. So you always want to do it on your left hand side, because then as you're backing up, you can lean out the window and see what your trailer's doing. But if you do it on the blind side and you're going off your right, you got to look into the passenger side of the mirror, and then you're blinded. You have nothing to watch, so you're really blinded. But you have to learn that skill. So that was around Thanksgiving. Around Christmas time was when I was working with a trainer. So what they would do is, once you got to Salt Lake City, Utah, you would do like classroom stuff for like a week, and then you would go out with 2 sets of trainers. So your first trainer would probably be about like 2-3 weeks, and then your other trainer would be about 4 to 6, or maybe 6 to 8 weeks, something like that. And then so I remember having trainers. I had one guy, he was an older black guy from California. He definitely, oh, you know what? Was he first? Yes, he was first, and he ended up I don't think I've ever told anybody this, but one thing that I did, he ended up dropping me back off at the center, and I felt very, very bad, right? So that made me feel like at that moment he didn't tell me like, oh, we're back at here, we're back at the yard because I don't think you can make it. But like, that's what I felt like. Because when we're in Salt Lake City, Utah, there's in that area they have this highway, and I remember the highway, it would be in like circles. It would be like a big mountainous area, and then it would be like the highway would go in like a circle. And like, being a beginner, like I was going fast, and you know how like when you on a roller coaster, when you at the top and then you go down and your insides feel like I was taking the turns a little too fast. My trainer was in the bunk, and he woke up, and he didn't say anything, but I knew that's why he woke up, because I was going too fast. Like I'm smiling about it, but like it's not funny. This is one of those moments where because when you're a trainer, essentially what happens is that you want to be around, but you also have to get your sleep as a trainer. So as soon as that happened, it wasn't long before I was back at the training center. And when I asked him about it, he was just like, nah, I'm just getting a little older, I'm not feeling too well. But in the back of my mind, I was like, it's because I was going too fast on that mountain. He don't think, even though like I played it cool, like, oh, I got it. Even, I just knew, I just had a feeling that was what it was. So then I went without a trainer for, I think, maybe like a week or 2, something like that. So that means that I was based in this center. So what happens is, after you do the classroom stuff, then you usually have a waiting period where you're just in the center just like all day. Like, you can, if you want to, like, still train and stuff, but typically they bring in so many students that it was like, because that's what these mega carriers do, like they'll bring in 100 people, and let's say if 30 people can't pass the drug test or something, then they bring in another 100 people, and then these people keep dropping off or whatever the case is. So they keep bringing in people by the boatloads, but people will be having different reasons for not making it. And even though, if I'm not mistaken, for the most part, if I didn't have a trainer, I was just sitting around. So I ended up getting lucky. And here's where things get a little murky, because I remember having 2 more trainers after that. So if I'm not mistaken, I believe the next trainer I got after the older black guy was this somewhat like older. If I was 21, 22-ish around this time, so he must have been like 35 at the most, like 35 approaching 40. And he was like this Spanish guy, and he taught me. And I remember he was my next trainer, and I was with him, and I remember he was the one that put me on the West Coast rap music. So growing up, I was like a very, very big, like East Coast or down South, like rap fan. Like still to this day, when I think of Lil Wayne, the Carter 2 is the greatest piece of work he's done. Even though I stopped listening after the Carter 3, I don't care what he puts out, it can't top the Carter 2. The Carter 2 is an all-time classic. That Lil Wayne, I don't need to hear No Ceilings. That's something that came out. That's the last, like, what was it, like No Ceiling? I can't think of nothing else Wayne put out. All I need from Wayne is the Carter 2, and it's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And I was a very big T.I. fan. And of course, being born and raised in New Jersey, I was a very big G Unit fan. I had a couple of the shirts. I just, I liked, when I was growing up, I couldn't play. My dad wouldn't let me play rated M for mature games. So when we used, for football Sundays, we would go over to my cousin's house, and while they had the games on the big screen, we would have like a table a little bit to the side in the other corner, the opposite corner, with the PlayStation 2, and we would all cycle in and out of playing Madden. And we all know what the Madden rules are. Lead by 21, get off the sticks. That's that 21 donut. That's it. Right. So I remember 50 Cent had put out the Bulletproof game, and my cousin had got it. And I remember one of the few times I was able to play at rated M for mature game growing up would be at my cousin's house one day, where I had this rare moment of beating my cousin in Madden. Yeah, because he had, it was his game, so he was always better than me. I mean, we had a Madden game, but like I wasn't super heavy into the Madden games. Like I was, don't get me wrong, when my dad came home with the new Madden, he would just like play it, like come home from work, get the new Madden, and then just be like, oh, we got the new Madden, and then I would play it. But like playing Madden by yourself and then playing Madden against other people are 2 totally different things. So no matter how good you think you are when you by yourself, or because I remember I used to go and do the franchise mode. I remember they used to have the what is that, like the drills. Like when you do the franchise mode, you could do the drills. I remember they used to have the when you doing the quarterback, you go do the quarterback, and then you throw the football to the receiver through like these glowing sonic rings. Like, oh man, that takes me back. Madden was like, I was on Madden. My dad was real nice with Madden. My dad, he's the one that got me into gaming, and he mostly played, like, if I'm not mistaken, I know he was real big on like the Tomb Raider games on the PlayStation. So he played that, like Madden, Tekken 3, and all in all, like my dad, he definitely, that was fantastic. That was fantastic. Yeah. Okay, okay. How did I get all the way over here from uh from truck driving school? Okay, okay, okay. I'm losing track. It's been a long day. It's been a very long day. So all right, so back to the truck driving thing. That's the main focus of this video. So when I went on to Salt Lake City, and I went and I had the oh yeah, 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 the other trainer. He was like a Spanish guy. I ended up meeting his family. Very nice family. And he was out of like mostly like the, if I'm not mistaken, like somewhere around like the Vegas area. And I remember me and him like I enjoyed it. Like he put me on to like West Coast rap. That's where like I was really listening to things like Ice Cube. I mean, you know, Ice Cube. Oh, okay, so that's how this happened, because I was talking about I was a G Unit fan, then I went on to the Bulletproof Gang. But yeah, so he put me on to like the West Coast, like the old school stuff, the Two Shorts, the E40s, the Ice Cubes, the Easy E. Like he was putting me on all that stuff. And I remember he had a CD, and he had a bunch of CDs, but there would be like this one CD where I'm like, yo, I didn't know West Coast music was like really like that. Like, because you know, I would just like, of course, you know, people like Ice Cube and everything, but like I wasn't aware of like all the he had like a certified West Coast CD, and it was like, what is this? Like, this is so good. And but yeah, so I had him, and you know, me and that trainer worked out very well. I did a lot better. But back to the first older black guy that put me down. I didn't know if I was gonna make it in trucking when I got back. Like I felt really bad. Like, yo, what am I doing? I'm all the way in Utah, and what am I doing? You know, like that. He ain't say it, but he ain't have to say it. Like I screwed up when I was driving on that highway. So anyway, then what ended up happening was, so this was in between the Spanish. So the Spanish trainer, my second trainer, that had to have been sometime like after Thanksgiving, but before Christmas, because around Christmas time is when I had got a third trainer, my final trainer, which was this man named Skip. And he was CR England. He was like this older white guy. And what he did was he came up to the Salt Lake City, Utah center to pick me up to train me, but we were mostly working for, was it Walmart? Yeah, it was a Walmart distribution center. So what we would do is we would work. He took me from Utah over to Cheyenne, Wyoming. So I was working out of a so around Christmas time of 2013, somewhere, yeah, 2013. That's around the time where I was basically over the road, but we were doing a lot of I think that was a dedicated account. We were going basically from distribution center to distribution center. And what we would do, like I said, we were based out of Cheyenne, Wyoming. Now, the one great thing about trucking is that it took me a lot of places to where I would have never, I wouldn't say I wouldn't have known these places, but I wouldn't have ever thought to ever go there. So a few spots that I remember, is it Twin Falls? Twin Falls, Idaho. I remember this was back when I was working with the first trainer, the older black guy. We were in like Idaho and somewhere, not in Twin Falls, but this is because I had two experiences. And I remember him being like, yo, we're in Idaho, like ain't nothing out here. And like, even though there was nothing out there, for some reason we couldn't find where we needed to go. That's what's crazy, because I remember thinking like, why does Idaho look like there's nothing around, but yet we can't find where we need to go? It was like mostly like hills and like not mountains, but like like a whole bunch of farmland, but yet it was like we couldn't find where we needed to go. But the next time I was in Idaho by myself, I was in Twin Falls, Idaho. I think that's the correct. Hold on. Is Twin Falls? I think that's Idaho. Hold on. Twin Falls. Yeah, Twin Falls, Idaho, right? So I went there, right? And I remember I was I had went and I needed to go. I remember I got off on the exit on the highway. And then what I remember is that I needed to go to this business that was to the left. And for some reason I'm calling around because I'm like, hey, I don't know where I need to go. The address says this, but yet I'm not finding this. And what I needed to do was make the left, go all the way down the road, and then make a right. My GPS screwed me. This is another reason why a lot of truckers will tell you to not only have a GPS, which is mostly digital, but also get yourself a physical map, because then you'll be able to when the GPS fails you, you'll be able to know where you're going. So I went over to Twin Falls and I made the wrong turn. I knew that I was where I was supposed to go when I went to like this street, right? And then it was like a street. There was a house on the corner, and then there was a straightaway. And then I said, of course, I'm running around with a truck with a sleeper on it. So if you don't know, these are the trucks that have like the bunks in the back. So if a truck doesn't have the trunk on the back, the bunk in the back, the bed, it'll be like the driver, his back, the wall. But in this truck, I had me, my back seat, and then I had all this space for like living in the truck. And what ended up happening was I went straight because I'm like, I can't make this turn. Next thing I know, there was the road got like real thin. Like I'm talking about like real thin, to the point to where there was, on the side of the road that was thin, there was like a ditch on each side. And then I said, oh, I need to be careful. Guess what was in the middle of the road? Just guess. A freaking cow. An actual full-grown cow was in the middle of this damn street. To the point where I said, okay, I can't go straight anymore. Because if I'm not mistaken, because this is, like I said, my memory's a little fuzzy. If I'm not mistaken, I found some way to either the cow moved or whatever, or I backed up and then made some turn somewhere else. And I ended up going to like this area where like it was very wide. It was a long driveway, obviously made for trucks, probably for the cattle, probably for people bringing cattle and animals. So I was like, damn, that's crazy. I never seen a cow in the middle of the road, and it's like it's late at night, like pitch black at night, and I'm like, where in the hell did this cow come from? So that's one moment I remember. I remember what other spots was memorable. Well, there was that other spot in Idaho that I delivered to for the potatoes, and like when I say that place smelled like potatoes, I'm talking about, man, I was in my truck and that whole area around that factory smelled like straight up potatoes, like French fries. I was like, damn, that smells good. What other spots? I remember I was out in Texas. That's where I got my first. That's where I got Verizon Wireless. Because when I was first truck driving, I had Metro PCS and driving through mountains and stuff. If you see me looking at the side, I'm just looking at the other monitor, mostly just to keep in touch with the audio levels. Okay, so one thing that I Texas. I had Metro PCS, but going through certain mountainy areas and stuff, you lose signal. I ended up pulling over to like this mini mall off the side of the highway in Texas and getting myself my Verizon wireless, and I've had Verizon wireless ever since. And I've had Verizon wireless ever since, and that's a memorable moment. Oh, also in Texas, I was delivering somewhere in Texas, and I remember where I was pulling up to the spot to get unloaded or loaded, whichever. There was this pickup truck that had like, what was it said? It said like white power or something like that, like on the back of the pickup truck, like where the back window is. So you got like the bed of the pickup truck, then you got the little back window. It said like white power, and I was like, ooh, I don't know about that. I was like, they blatant with it out there. So, there was this spot where I was in what is that? This had to have been like the Missouri area, right? So, man, is there any way? Do I have any pictures of? I used to have dreads back in this time. Hold on. I'm trying to see if I can. Trying to see if I can show you. Trying to see if I can show you this what I look like with dreads, because this is pertaining to the story. Where is it? Where is it? Come on, what is the? It's on. Now all of a sudden I can't find my fucking mom's Instagram. What is? See, wait, did I save a picture? Maybe I sent a picture. Maybe I saved a picture of myself. Because these are years ago when I had dreads, and the reason why it's relevant is because at one point I walked into the store. Oh, there's a picture of me. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to find a nice picture. Okay. Oh, damn. The thing is oh, hold on. Hold on. Let me see if it works better with the hold on. Cause I'm trying to show. That's a picture of me working. Okay. This is what I look like with dreads, right? Let's see if I can, right. All right. So, uh, hold on. Let's see if I can turn down the brightness a little bit just to get a little bit better of a picture. Right. So that's me with the dreads, right? So, let me turn that background back on, 'cause that's another thing too. Like that way I can have a much better background. So, as a matter of fact, let's just make this cam everything. All right, so basically what ended up happening was you don't need that. Oh, no, definitely do the vertical. But all right, so I was in like the Missouri area, right? And what ended up happening was I went to this like my trainer. This is with the my first trainer, the older black guy, right? So I go into this convenience store, right? Now, mind you, I have dreads. My dreads were never done. And so I go in and I walk in, and there's this older white lady immediately to the side. She's the owner of the store. All right. And so what ended up happening was I asked her, I said, hey, excuse me, where can I find, Gatorade or something? Oh, you can find it over there. Okay. All right. Thank you. I walk over there. I grab what I need. And I'm talking about like 30 seconds. I'm talking 30 seconds, right? I turn around and the door is like, when you first walk in, there's the lady. I need to my left. I need to go all the way to the right. So as I'm going all the way to the right, and then I'm circling back around, well, not circling, but I turn around and, I go to pay for what I pay for. There's an officer in the store, and he wasn't there when I got there. Right. So then, I say, I nod. How you doing? Hey, what's up? And he says, hey, how you doing? I pay for my stuff. I leave. My trainer gets out of the store after me and then says, what did you say to that lady? And then I said, I didn't say anything. I just asked where I needed to go. And then he said, bruh, after she spoke to you, she immediately got on the phone. Now, mind you, this lady is like 80 something. Like, she had to have been like 75 or better. She as soon as you turned around, she was on the phone, and the officer showed up. And I'm talking about like quick. It don't take, it don't take long for convenience store, for you to get what you need out of a cooler, you know what I'm saying, or some snacks or something. It's a convenience store, oh, a bag of chips, or a Gatorade, something like that. So I go, and what ends up happening is my trainer's like, yo, you need to be careful because, the way that you look with your dreads not being done, and, I was a fairly small guy, and I was always like sagging my pants, and, like I was just, like, he's like, you got to remember, the young black boys like you probably like have robbed her store before or something like that. He was like, you got to be careful. So that was the instance in Missouri. I'm trying to see. I remember going to Cali for the first time. Yo, the air, I know this sounds crazy, but the air is different. And I went to like Oakland. And I remember being like, yo, like I'm in California. Like California. If you would have told me as I was younger that I would be going to California, I would be like, okay, California's California. All right, but I've been to North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana. I've been to, and of course I've been through all these states. That's the one thing about truck driving. And really what is the focus of this live stream, which is just how I started truck driving, how I feel now that I'm 5 years in. And I know you guys are like, wait, but I thought you said you started driving in 2013 and it's 2021. That's more than 5 years. The reason why is because I ended up, after I left CR England for going over the road, what ended up happening was I went over to I ended up getting fired because truck drivers are required by law to fill out logs. And this was one of the many stupid decisions that I made. So basically, all I had to do was just press like a submit. It's not even like I was running dirty and I didn't submit the logs in because, I wasn't going to submit in dirty logs. It was electronic logs. All I had to do was just wake up every morning. Because I think there was like a rule, like, let's say for what I did today, it had to be in before noon the next day. All I had to do was press a button on the computer in the truck and that's it. But I was like, I'm all over the country. I'm making money for the company. I'm always driving. They ain't gonna want to pull me in. They ain't gonna want to. I didn't realize that, like, how serious that was. So I ended up getting fired. Then I ended up going over to Schneider. And then from Schneider, I ended up getting fired because I would take some turns a little too fast. And the computer would be like, bloop, bloop, bloop. You've taken a turn too fast. And then the safety people in the office, where were they out of? At least the Schneider that I was working at was based out of Carlisle, PA, Pennsylvania. So I do remember I had a couple of those, and that had me fired. Then what ended up happening, which was the next job. So if I'm not mistaken, I took like a little time off. No. I ended up working for another company, Finkel, CBF, Clifford B. Finkel, something like that. Finkel 4, is it that like company. I ended up working for them for a month before I had tore up a trailer. So I was driving down the road. It was somewhere in Pennsylvania. I was supposed to take it to this spot over in PA to like this UPS yard, this UPS. And what ended up happening was, as I was going down the way, there was another car coming. And of course, I'm a truck, but I wasn't aware of how wide I was. So I'm like, all right, if they're coming down the road like a regular car, I need to move over. But I moved over too far. On the side of the road, there was a lot of trees and a lot of thick branches. And I moved over too far. The edge of my trailer basically just hit the thing. So the top of the trailer was looking like somebody took a damn can opener to it. And the craziest thing about it is it happened it happened like a minute distance walk. Like if you was to walk from where I hit that tree into the yard for the UPS, you would see it was like not even a minute walk. It was to the point where even though I tore up the trailer, the top of the trailer was like basically the side of the trailer was slumped over. So the trailer, instead of being boxed in like usual, like this on the side, it was just like bulging out because the top got took off. Like the seam at the top. Like I didn't hit like a bridge and then, the top of the trailer peels back. I hit something on the side, so then the side of it, like let's say this, right? If this is the trailer, a tree branch hit this, and then everything on this side of the trailer, because this was torn open, all the freight was peeling off the side, but I was still able to drive that messed up trailer into the UPS and drop it in like this wide area. And I knew I was fired. I mean, they liked me over there I was only a month. I mean, you can argue that's not long enough for people to like you, but for the most part, I was like, they were like, oh man. And I was like, yo, can y'all save me? And they were like, we gonna see what we can do. Never called me back again. And if I'm not mistaken, the very next day after that, I ended up no, there were three things that went wrong. I hit that trailer on with the tree branch, tore up the trailer, got fired, ended up rear-ending somebody, because this all happened in December. 3 different things. And I'm talking about back the day, the next day, and the following day. Had a speeding ticket for going 69 and a 45 in my mom's minivan. And then I also rear-ended somebody else the following day or the day before. Like, this is 3 events happening on 3 back-to-back days. So I basically was like, yo, like, I'm wilding. So I didn't drive for about 3 years until, like, all the points on my license went off. So I was working at, like, Amazon and FedEx and whatnot. So basically, because when I think about my career, like where I'm at today, 5 years of like steady employment, like my first year was a mix of over the road, regional, like several months over the road, a few months regional, and then that 1 month of local work, but I got fired. So then what ended up happening was I got hired by this local guy working out of the city right next to where I live. So I worked with him for a year, but then the company ended up going under. And I remember when that happened, like I didn't want to look for another job because I was like, like this dude, he gave me a shot to be able to be hired when like I had a terrible track record with employment. So I worked with him for a year. And then so if I left my first year and all those being fired and damaging that trailer, that was 14. I didn't work for 15, 16, 17. And then I worked 17, the whole 2017 with this one guy. And then after I left him, I went to like this temp agency for truckers. And I tried to do food service, it's very hard work. Food service is basically you get a trailer and then they'll have like 10 pallets, right? But it's not simple like these 2 pallets are going to stop 1, these 2 pallets are going to stop 2. No, like all the pallets have stuff from all the different stops, so you gotta break it down. Oh, okay. Oh, if you need 1 item, let's say if your first stop gets 10 items and 9 of them are on your first pallet, but then that final item is in another pallet. Now you got to break down that entire other pallet looking for the one piece that you need. And while you're doing that, you're sorting out everything you're seeing. So, oh, this is stop 3. This is stop 4. It was too much. It was too much. I couldn't keep up with it physically. Um, and then they ended up getting me on with. So I told them I can't do that anymore. Can't do it. And then I had this really bad day where at that food service spot where I wanted to cry. And basically what happened was I was going, like I said, I'm not good at the job, right? So what they would do is I would have this guy named Mike that I would usually go out on these routes with. So what'll happen is in the food service that I was working at, PFG, Performance Food Group, you would have the drivers. You come in at like 4 in the morning. There'll be a bunch of drivers and then a bunch of driver helpers from this other company. So it would be like the food service company has the drivers and some other company has the workers that help the that basically, they're like lumpers, but that's what they do. Like if I drive, my main thing is drive and get in the back. His main thing was knowing how to do everything. And one day he didn't show up, so they ended up putting me with this other guy, and this guy abandoned me at the first stop. I'm talking about like the first stop. It was at this one spot, and the crazy thing is that you would back into the dock, but you would have to go through the building down like some hallways in order to get to the kitchen, because the dock spot wasn't like directly outside of the kitchen. And as we're going, like I said, I'm not good at this, and we get to the first stop, and this guy is like, yo, like like we got to be doing this a whole lot faster, like I'm about to dip. And I didn't say anything. I just was like, this is what it is. If this place says the docks are back here, but deliver everything to the kitchen that's out this door down a long hallway, I'm not good. He ended up disappearing on me on that. And I remember going back to the kitchen staff and then saying, yo, I'm looking for my coworker. Have you seen him? And they're like, I don't know. And then I'm like, damn it. And then I'm like, damn it, shit. And then what ends up happening is I go around the building, inside and out, looking for this guy. I can't find him. He was talking about like, oh, I'm gonna have my girl come pick me up, boom, boom, boom. Right, so he leaves, and then I go off to do the rest of my thing. And I remember I was delivering to schools. This was in what was the school? I think the school was in Jersey. It was like a bunch of schools. And I was so slow by myself, but I never told the company that the guy I was riding with, that because that's what they would do. They would give you work enough to where the driver and the unloader pretty much would have to work in tandem, work together in order to get through the work. Or unless like that driver was working there for years and years and years and he just knows how to operate on his own. And so he left, but I never told the company because I'm like, well, I'm pissed off. I wanted to cry because I'm like, yo, like I'm out of my league here. Like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not as fast as I should be. I don't, this is a lot of work. I gotta break stuff down, find it. It's like I don't, I'm just not confident. I'm like, I don't. So I go on with my day as if nothing happens. I get to the school and I'm slow rolling to the like when the day is shot, when you having one of those days where you're just like, oh, this is one of them days. So what ended up happening was I only got like 2 to 3 stops after that first one before the company called and said, yo, why are you so slow? And then I was like, I just need a little more time. Then they said, okay. So then they said, we're going to take another driver, have him bring his trailer over there. He's going to take half your remaining workload, and then he's going to work it. So that driver met me, and then he said, oh, yo, what's good? Yo, where your man's at? And then I said, I don't know. I couldn't find him. I couldn't find him. We was at the first stop. Then he said, yo, you got to tell the company. And then I was like, what he did was scummy, but I'm not trying to rat dude out. Like, and then he was like, nah, but you know, that's what you supposed to do. So then when I got back at the yard, I think I did maybe like 2 more stops after that. Then they called me back in. And then the guy was like, yo, like, I appreciate, you know, this is like the guy behind the counter, like working for the company. He was like, yo, you know, because the guy that came to rescue my load, the other driver, he called the company and then said, yo, this driver, you know, his helper didn't stay. He left throughout the day. And then he left at the first stop. So this driver went on the second, third, fourth, and fifth stop, and that was it. But you know, when I got back to the office, you know, the guy behind the counter, he was real cool. He was just like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I know it was a little rough for you, you know, but I got respect for you for, you know, going out there and try to do it on your own. So then he was like, you know, if you ever need anything, come back and find me. You know, you'll always have a job. And then I remember thinking like, thanks, man, but you know, this ain't for me. So, and then I tried to check in years later. That guy left that company. I checked in because when I was working at FedEx, when I wasn't working driving trucks, a coworker of mine years later started working there. He was like, oh yeah, that guy left. So then I said, damn, I guess I ain't got a job there now. You know, so because the way I see it, I'm like, food service is like my last employment thing, but my last choice. But now shit, I'll go back over the road before I do that. But then my company, the temp agency said, well, we got this other company and you should try them. And I've been with them ever since. So I think they had me on as a temp for about like probably like 3 months, something like that, 2 month and a half to 3 months. And then I asked to get signed on for real as an employee, and I've been with them ever since. So I just made 3 years. So I've really turned my career around from being like immature and not really understanding how important logs are or how important safety actually is out there on the road. And to now I'm working with my current employer for like 3 years every March. So I just made 3 years. And you know, I turned it around. You know, I'm doing a lot better like my career. So now if I was to put my resume out there now, it's like, oh, you got 3 years of local steady. Like, yeah, and my job respects me, you know, not to sound like, you know, like I'm that nigga when it comes to my job. I mean, I do my job and I definitely have my moments. You know what I mean? You can't be a trucker without having your moments. And, you know, now that, you know, my career isn't just, oh, I'm a star player every single day. You know, you have good days, you have bad days, you have rough days. So now I'm 5 years into trucking with some mistakes, but for the most part, my driving career is looking fantastic, at least right now. You know, I don't have any issue with my pay, but what I also want to get into is trucking and if I want to do this for the next 40, 50 years. And the answer is no. Now, why don't I? You know, me personally, I think that it's definitely great to have the skill of being able to drive a truck. And I've definitely done some things where, like, trucking has long days. Like, if you're local, you're working like 10 to 14 hours a day. And, you know, sometimes are easier than most. Like, before the pandemic, it was like 10 hours. I could count on it. I'm like, oh, it's about that 10 hours. Approaching that 10-hour mark. Yeah, I'm about to get off. And to the occasional like 12 hours to during the pandemic, it's like 12, 14 on the regular. I'm like, damn, these days is long. So like, and the point is this, right? as a truck driver, right? You go through the motions, and there will come a time where the appeal, where if you do this long enough, it's no longer just about like, oh, I'm doing something new, you know? Because now I'm like, I want to do other things. I've always wanted to be a streamer. I always wanted to be on YouTube, but, and now I'm trying to do that. I wanted to, like, I want to pursue, like, because gaming is my passion, like, and for the past couple years, like, I've noticed, like, as you get older, gaming just doesn't feel the same. You know what I mean? It just doesn't. You can have, it just doesn't feel the same. I find myself, like, sometimes looking at a whole bunch of games and then being like I got a bunch of Switch games, and of course it don't matter. The point is that I got like 20 Switch games here, a bunch of PC games, a bunch of PS4 games, a bunch of Xbox games, and it's like I find myself mainly going back to like the old reliables, and I feel like it's just time for a change. I definitely want to get into streaming. I don't want to be in a truck for the next 40 years. It's long days, 10 to 14 hours Monday through Friday. Some people work 14 hours Monday through Friday, and if they get lucky throughout the week and get a little bit short of a day, then they're coming in on Saturday. So I'm in a position to where I have a job Monday through Friday, 12 hours on average. Sometimes it's creeping into that 13, 14 hour. And I would say that according to other drivers who are local, I'm in one of the better spots, because not better than everybody else, but I'm in one of those jobs to where it's like, okay, you're local, you got your weekends. That's great. And you're not complaining about pay. But it's kind of like when you sit here and you, like right now, I've been streaming for a little over an hour. Like I had to tell myself like, hey, if you want to stream, instead of streaming 5-6 hours on Saturday and Sunday, how about you just after work, just go ahead and find something to talk about and stream and have a good time. I was going to play the game, but, I just felt like I just had to talk about it. And let's see. And like I said, it's one of those things to where I'm grateful that, trucking changed my life. Before I was working for like $10.50 for like 20 hours a week, to basically making life-changing money. I'm not going to say I'm making 100,000 or nothing like that, but I was able through trucking to get my own car. I'm doing all right. And but do I want to do this forever? No, because trucking is a career to where it takes up a lot of your life, your personal life. During the week, if you're a local driver, you're essentially working all day, come home, maybe do a little some, whether that's chill with your family or your girl or your boys, but it's not like how it was before I got into trucking. Even though I was working part-time, even when I was working the 2 jobs, it was like, okay, you're working jobs, but you still get enough time. It's like, nah, like when you're a local trucker, you're basically working all day, coming home, and if you work 12 hours, you don't get as much time each day to essentially, you're not going to say, oh, hey, I got off work, anything's up for tonight. That's not what's going to happen. You're going to be like, oh, okay, I worked 12 hours today. I know what time I'm coming in tomorrow. And that's all that's going to be on your mind. And then, not to mention, I gained weight. So it's this situation where, like, I want to stream. Like, what I should be doing is I should be working all day, coming home, working out, going to bed. That's Monday. Wake up, work out, stay working out. And then on the weekends, then gaming and streaming and stuff. But the only issue is that, like, I'm gonna be honest. I just don't think that's cool. Like, because the one thing about trucking that makes trucking difficult is that what makes trucking difficult for drivers often isn't even the job. It's how the job, how it works with everything else in your life, you know. It's like, okay, let's say you gain a couple pounds, right? Because you're sitting in a seat and you're at work for 12, 14 hours a day. Or if you're over the road or regional, you're driving all damn day. You're sitting, you're eating food. You know, you got to go out of your way to eat healthy foods. So chances are when, for me, I was eating a whole bunch of Wendy's, this, that, gained weight. You can see it all in my face. And now it's like, when you get older and you put on weight, I'm talking like after 25, like mid 20s to late 20s, that's when you'll realize that, like, putting on weight isn't just like aesthetic. It creates other problems. Now you're sluggish. Now you need more hours of sleep because you're like, ugh. And then when you do wake up, when you do work out after work, now you're working all day, you're tired. Then you work out, now you're more tired. You get up 2, 3 in the morning, now you wake up tired. And then you do that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then once Friday night comes, you're like, oh, payday. Go to the bank. Then what do I do on Fridays? It's just a whole bunch of just sitting at the kitchen table, the living room table, and I'm just like, the weekend's here. And then I usually stay up all Friday, sleep in most of my morning on Saturday, don't do nothing on my Saturday, stay up all Saturday doing nothing, waking up like damn near brunch or lunchtime on Sunday, and then saying, well, if I start work Monday at like 3 o'clock in the morning, then I need to be in bed like midday Sunday. So now you spend so much time just sleep. Like, I'm in that situation where, like, it's like I'm just looking at my green screen, man. My headphones and the green screen thing making my head look crazy. But yeah, so it's like I'm looking forward to the weekend pretty much every week. Where, like, I'm just now recently, like, years in, I'm like, okay, so I need to lose weight. So when am I gonna work out? I started working out, then I didn't stick with it. Then when it came to I'm sorry, I'm extremely tired. But essentially, what makes trucking the hardest isn't even the job. Most drivers are like, we know how not to hit anything. And we can still do it, no matter how skilled you are in trucking. You can make a mistake, no matter how experienced you are. But pretty much, it's the losing weight. It's the time management. It's you're working all day for your career, and then when you get home, all you're thinking about is the next long day, and then the next long day, waiting for a weekend when you're so tired you can't choose whether to stay up to utilize the time or go to sleep so you can wake up early enough to do anything. And it's like, I can't keep going in this cycle of just waiting for the weekend to come, and then once the weekend comes, you don't do nothing with it. And then it's like you dread Monday coming all the time. You're like, what is it, Sunday morning? I only got like half a day because I got to get up early Monday morning. And I mean, it's the job. I know for a fact that every time Monday comes, I'm going to get up and go to work. But I don't want to be doing this forever. You know, the trucking industry takes over your life. That's just what so like now what I'm doing is getting into streaming, so then that way I can say, you know what, for all this time that I'm putting into the truck, how about I actually go for something that I like? And then if I become a successful streamer, you know, I would like to balance the skills. So then that way, instead of working 5 days a week, if I start making money with streaming, then okay, I want to go part-time. So be a part-time, well, like stream all the time, but being a part-time trucker. So that way I can still do it, but it just doesn't take up all my time, and all that way I can do what I enjoy, which is playing games. And then I can also, you know, have a marketable skill and do enough of that job so that should anything happen, I can jump in and out of the truck if needed. So let's say like 10 years from now, I'm like, you know what? I'm just kind of over the whole streaming thing. I can just hop back into the truck because I stayed in the truck. So that's an option. That's an absolute option for me. So, you know, that's what I want to do. Like, I don't want to just be a trucker that trucks because I could never do anything else. And that's something that I think most truckers, I think if I met a young trucker, that I want to emphasize is, yes, get your CDL. It costs, you know, a few to a couple grand. Mine's cost like just under $3, but without that discount that I got, it would have been like $5. And then you're gonna make, like, you're gonna spend $5,000, and then your first job, you're gonna be making like, you know, just rough numbers, like 40, 30, 40, 50, and then by 5 years, because let's talk about like 5-year plan. You spend that $5,000 on your CDL. 5 years after that, and you keep a good work history, you're gonna turn that $5,000 into like $60, $70, $80,000. So it's definitely worth it, but I would be wrong to tell people looking to get into a CDL that like getting their CDL is enough, because this is a business to where even if you're a driver, unless you own your truck, most of the shippers and receivers ain't going to respect you like that. They just, you know, like you can't walk around like, oh, you know, I'm a trucker, like I'm that guy, like, you know what I mean? You're just a guy with a skill. You know, if you really want to be that man, you got to own your truck, own your business, run your business. And that's what I would say to most people getting into trucking. Yes, get into trucking, but also never stop learning. As you are in the truck, whether you go over the road, and the rules of over the road, typically when I was over the road back in 2013 was you get a day home for every 7 days that you're out on the road. So I would stay out for a month, come home for 4 days, go back out for a month, home for 4 days. You know, and if I'm not mistaken, regional for me was like you're home every weekend. So you're on the road Monday through Friday, you get home Friday night, and then you leave out Sunday night or Sunday morning. Like on Sunday, you would go home, so go back out. So, you know, I would advise all people to get a CDL, to never stop learning. Like, don't get your CDL and then think you're gonna be set for life, unless, you know, always teach yourself, because what you don't want to be in this industry is a truck driver that only knows how to drive a truck. And this is crucial information, because a lot of guys, it's very easy to get frustrated in this industry. It's very easy to get frustrated and then say, well, this is so frustrating. And then other people will say, well, why don't you just do something else? And then you look and you think, and then you say, you know what? I don't know what I would do. I don't have a degree. So what else could I possibly do? And you don't want to be that. If you're getting your CDL, make sure that you're teaching yourself about something so that way you can still gain value. Because, like I said, truck drivers in the trucking industry, we're not like kings, you know what I mean? We're just people with a skill, and everybody else dictates. Unless you own your truck and you're running your own routes, everybody else dictates everything. So when you're talking about money, the customer, the receiver, the company, the broker, the planner, the dispatcher, all these people's, and then it's the driver. So the drivers are the bottom of the totem pole. And it's like, you want to be able to, if you're in the computers, learn to build websites while you're truck driving. Do something, because I'm telling you, there may come a day where, you gotta sit there and then think, hey, do I want to do this forever? Do I want to have a job where it's like I'm pushing, 70-hour work weeks, all the time? Like, as a local driver, I'm pulling somewhere between like 55 and 60. But over the road guys, you got 70 hours within 8 days. And typically you're going to be trying to run out the day. You get 11 hours of driving time every day. So you're going to be trying to get, let's say you're going 60 miles an hour for 11 hours. That's 660 miles. 60 and 10 is 600. Yeah, so 660 miles. And you're going to be like, oh, okay, cool. But after a while, you may start to get a little like, it depends on you. Like, if you're single, you can definitely make a lot of good money and set your life up and improve your life. But, if you want to change it, let's say you're single, you truck for 10 years, but then you meet somebody, right? And then you say, wow, this person's amazing. Like, I want to, I don't want to be on the road all damn day. I just want to get a 9 to 5 and just make enough money with my 9 to 5 to basically make money, take care of my business, and then get on, and have a home life for real. And, but you have to do that, or you can go part-time with a company. But even though truck driving pays a lot, I'm not sure about the dynamics of that part-time trucking. Like, it's part-time trucking 40 hours? Is it 30 hours, 20? I don't know. But I just don't want drivers to get their CDL and then when they want to make a change in their lives, they sit there and look and then say, well, I would have to start all over. And then have that fear of, well, if I start all over, I won't be able to maintain what I have. If you start making 100,000 a year, you're gonna live a life that affords you 100,000 a year in luxuries. And then if you say, you know what, I want to change everything, and let's say that new job says, oh, okay, yeah, we'll hire you for about 40 grand. You're gonna say, I can't afford everything that I've gotten off that 40 grand, and then you'll stay in that truck and you don't know what to do. You'll just stay in the truck because that's your only option. Do not be like that. Even now, like, even I have to tell myself, like, okay, you're a trucker, but if we don't want to be a trucker for the next 50 years, 40, 50 years, then it's up to me as an individual to make sure that I have value outside of that seat. I'm passionate about games, so I want to stream games. I'm not saying I'm gonna make a killing at it, but at least I'm giving it a try. I suck when it comes to keeping a schedule, but it is what it is. And every day is a journey, and I'm gonna give it a go and look for things to broaden my horizons, you know. I'm gonna do things because I recently came to the conclusion that I'm just not doing enough. You know, it's not enough to just work a job all the time and then when I'm off, just be content with just playing my video games and then hopping back in that truck, knowing that deep down I don't want to be doing this forever. You know, I want to change, but yet I'm not making the incremental changes or the incremental decisions in order to facilitate a change later in the future. You know, I'm a truck driver. Oh, all I know how to do is drive a truck. Okay, well, guess what? Tomorrow you got off. What would I be doing tomorrow? What am I going to do? Oh, I got tomorrow off. Oh, you know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sleep in. Ooh, and then I'm going to order food. And then I'm going to play the game a little bit. And then I'm going to go to bed so I can do it later. Now, which one of those decisions would get me closer to getting out of that truck seat? Not one. Well, I mean, it's possible playing the game and becoming a streamer, but the point of what I'm making is that, you know, I have to make certain decisions, and I've come to the conclusion because I had a conversation today where somebody was like, well, why won't you try it? And I'm just like, and he was like, yo, dude, you all over the place. And that just, like, I got mad because I was like, you know what? He's kind of right. But anyway, I've been going on like an hour and a half. You know, I got to get to bed. So, you know, I just wanted to talk and talk about my career, where I started, how I started, where I'm at, how I turned it around, got my head on straight, but how I want to basically just move in another direction, and I have to do the personal growth in order to go a different direction. And that's what I'm doing. You know, streaming doesn't have to work out. I would love if it does, but for the most part, I'm gonna give it a try. All right, so that's what that is. And as far as the green screen goes, I'm gonna figure out something so that way I can have like a more legitimate I just raised the roof. I'm gonna have something that's like a more official green screen. And because right now what I'm doing is I got the Logitech webcam and I'm using Chroma Cam, the software, and I'm using that software to pretty much simulate a green screen, but it's not perfect. You know, it's not perfect. Why am I even doing it? Why not just? Why am I even? I didn't even need to wear the headphones. I could have been looking real decent the entire time. But you know what? Life is about learning. Life is about making decisions, learning, and figuring out what works for you. So you know what? I'm not even mad. You win some, you lose some. Man, the headphones had me looking like I had like what do you call those dreads where it's like real thick ones, like one up top and two on the sides. Like it made me look crazy, but yeah, you know, I need to make a change in my life. You know, I've been very worried about streaming because, you know, I'm usually not a very talkative person, and I usually stay to myself. And I mean, I am chatty with the people that I know. But for the most part, I'm like, yo, if I'm gonna be streaming, I need to learn how to communicate better, and that's just not really something that I know that that's a hurdle for me. It's like, okay, I'm gonna have to get more emotive. I'm gonna have to get more, you know, like you guys see how I sound now. You know, I'm like me. Right now, I sound excited. Like I'm smiling, I sound excited. But I know that sometimes when people hear me, because I look back at my recordings and everything, and it's like my voice sounds like I'm just like slumped over in a chair, could barely even get up. I'm like, hey guys, welcome to my stream. If I sound like I'm uninterested, it's because I'm damn near dead. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even though right now I feel happy, the dog is fucking barking. It's like 10 o'clock at night. Let me go get the dog. All right. I gotta cut this stream off. I gotta go before the dog starts angering the neighbors and shit. All right, guys. So I'll be back on tomorrow after work with some actual gameplay. All right, and then I'll catch you guys later. Let me go get the dog. The dog's been outside for years, and yet this guy still acts like he ain't never seen nobody. Like he don't know what people are. Like he don't know what anything is. So let me go. It's like he ain't got no home training. So, all right, guys. I appreciate the watch, and it's about that time. So I'm gonna just go ahead and come back tomorrow. So what I've decided to do is I'm gonna do like after work just little streams to just wind down, and I'm gonna do little streams, and then on the weekends that's when I'm gonna do my massive streams. So I appreciate anybody that stops by this video to just hear what I had to say, and like I said, you know, that's just who I am as a person. You know, I'm a trucker Monday through Friday. On the weekends when I'm off, I'm gonna be streaming. Let me go get the dog. Damn it! Why ain't nobody else get the damn dog? All right.